Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie and today is my Bookcon haul and I have so much stuff to go through. Going to Bookcon was such an amazing experience. This was actually my second year, but my first year that I've been there on BookTube. And actually going to Bookcon last year and seeing the book community is what inspired me to start my BookTube channel. So I'm just really excited about it. My first ever video, which went up June 9th, 2018, was my Bookcon haul from last year. And now I'm here to do my Bookcon haul this year. And as you can tell, there's probably a vast difference in those two videos, but I've learned my way. I got this BookTube thing, you know, hopefully under control. And I'm really excited just to share with you all the stuff that I got and kind of talk about some of the stories of how I got things and how Bookcon works in general. So I'm going to start with all of the swag that I picked up because there's just a lot of stuff that you're walking around the different booths and you pick it up, and then we'll go into books that I bought, books that I got signed, ARCs, all that stuff. So let's start with the swag. So you can actually like find a lot just walking around the show floor and picking things up randomly, but I did buy some things. The first of which being this Bookcon tote bag. It's like plastic. It says read more books and it has a little Bookcon logo here. And the reason I picked this up is that I was having such a hard time finding a tote bag on the show floor, which like I don't know why I was having a hard time because usually there's tote bags everywhere, but I just really love that it's like clear and plasticky, and I think it's gonna be really great for the beach in the summer because of like the quality of it. So I was really excited to pick it up. And that was at the Bookcon store. Also at the Bookcon store, I picked up this Bookcon lanyard. Yeah, lanyard. So it says Bookcon here, and it has my badges on it. And of course, I have my Bookcon 2019 pin that I bought and I love. And of course, this BookTuber pin that Kate over at Chapter Kate designed. And then I have on here my weekend badge and also this thing that I picked up at Fierce Reads just to write my name on it and my channel name and stuff, and then I put that over in front so people could see who I am. And I just like loved wearing this all weekend. I originally started with the original like red lanyard, but I don't know, I just thought that this was super cute and a really easy way to display my pins, so I might put some more pins on here and then hang it up on my bookshelf as a way to commemorate the experience. I picked up so many random tchotchke like bookmarks, so I'm just gonna go through them real quick. I have this one from Bookish, another cute one from Bookish, this one from DK, which is Read Books, and then DK. I honestly don't even remember getting most of these. I must have just literally like picked them up and blanked it out of my mind, but whatever. This one, Riveted by Simon Teen. Ooh, this was at my Cora Carmack signing. I got this Rusk University one. I also got this Roar one for her Cora Carmack's other series, Roar. This bookmark for Cora Carmack's like new adult series. So I literally don't know where I got these, but it's like all these hot guys for some sort of smut series. I don't know where I picked these up, honestly. An advertisement for Stephen Jabotsky's new book, a advertisement for Children of Virtue and Vengeance. I got this cute little Fire Reads from Sourcebooks sticker, which I'll probably put in my bullet journal, but so many random bookmarks. I may throw some of them out and I may just keep some of them, and they're good for annotating because it's like a straight edge and I don't care if I ruin them because they're like, you know, whatever. Next tchotchke items I got was this lanyard that I was originally using, this sparkly lanyard that is for Chris Colfer's new book, and this Fierce Reads one. I also got this DK hat randomly. It's cute. I picked up this Star Wars poster, which I'm sadly probably going to throw out because it got all bent, but it's cool. This tattoo for The Last Magician. Oh, duh, I forgot to say I got this little keychain that says "Getting Loser, we're going to Bookcon" from the Bookcon store. These are going on my keys. I love this so much. I love it. Okay, I got these random buttons that have this little like vampire bunny. And this one that says Banicula with like a vampire bunny. I really don't know what it's about, but they were funny, so. Okay. I have so much to get through. I got a pop socket from Libby, which I love Libby. I use it for listening to audiobooks all the time. I got these stickers for Check Please at the Fierce Reads booth. I love Check Please. I read the little comic on my phone through my library. So these are really cute to have. Oh, there were people dressed as Scythes from like the Scythe series by Neil Shusterman, and you would go up to them and be like, I heard you have something for me. And they'd give you this envelope, this very dark envelope, and you open it up. And it was like to win an arc of the toll, and they only had 25. So then this one said that, sorry, you didn't get an arc, but as a consolation prize, they gave me this little pin with the scythe on it. So I guess that's an okay consolation prize. It's kind of fun though, and like I was a little scared to go up to them because they looked so creepy, but that would probably be a really fun job. I kept finding myself going back to the LitJoy crate booth throughout the whole weekend because they were doing this little Plinko game where you could win stuff, but also they just have amazing quality items, and I kept going back being like, I need to buy more. So first off, I got this platform 9 3/4 ticket, which it's just beautiful. I mean, look at how it sparkles, shines, and such good quality. And then I also got this replica of the Quidditch World Cup ticket from Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, and I cannot wait to have these on my bookshelf. I think they're gonna look so good, and they're just such high quality. Like, ugh, I loved their booth. Like, everything that they were selling was amazing. Also from there, I got some trading cards. So firstly, I was in love with these Throne of Glass ones. So here's Aelin, Dorian, and Rowan. And we talked about how this one was a long-haired Rowan and how not many people in fan art do long-haired Rowan, but we like long-haired Rowan. So yeah, these ones just go like so beautifully together. Definitely gonna go on my shelf. And when I saw these trading cards, I visibly gasped. Like, oh my god, I love them so much. And that is Jem, Will, and Tessa from the Infernal Devices, which is one of my favorite series ever. So I'm so happy to have these trading cards. They are extremely beautiful. Wow, I'm blown away by the quality of these. I love them so much, and I'm so happy that I purchased them at LitJoy, and just everything that they had on display there was amazing quality and just so beautiful. So next, let me go into the samplers that I got. I got this tiny little sampler for The 10th Girl by Sarah Faring. So The 10th Girl is about a boarding school in Argentina, or in the Patagonia region. It's a gothic psychological thriller with a haunting twist. Next one is I got a little preview for Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell, a graphic novel, also with Faith Erin Hicks. It's a little promotional sampler, and the artwork is super cute. These two people are seasonal best friends because they work together in the pumpkin patch every fall, and their last ever shift at the pumpkin patch is an adventure. Next up, I randomly grabbed a sampler of Beautiful on the Outside by Adam Rippon, which is his memoir. He is an Olympic figure skater. I loved watching him during the 2018 Winter Games, and this is basically the story of his life. Madison actually grabbed this one for me, but this is a sampler for Havenfall by Sarah Holland, who is the author of Everlist and Evermore. This one's coming out March 3rd, 2020, so a long way to go. And this is about a secret place sealed shut with ancient magic where the main character, Maddie, goes every summer to spend her time. However, this summer is different because someone has been murdered at the manor. That's about all we got so far, but it seems very atmospheric, and I like the setting of a mysterious manor with magic. And last but certainly not least, I got a sampler for Supernova by Marissa Meyer, which is the concluding novel to the Renegade trilogy. I also got these super cool sunglasses that say Supernova on the side. Anyways, Supernova is the concluding novel, so the first novel is Renegades, the second one being Arch Enemies, and now Supernova is the third, and just all of these covers together are, wow, stunning. Love the cover design. So I haven't read Renegades yet, even though I am really trying to get to it soon, but it is a superhero YA novel, and if you know me, you know I love superheroes, so I don't know why I haven't read it yet. And this sampler is actually like gigantic. It's a big chunk of the book, which leads me to think that the final page count is big. It's like a 76-page summary. So in the world of the Renegades, we have the Renegades who believe in peace and justice, and the Anarchists, which want to destroy it, and Nova is an anarchist who infiltrates the Renegades to try and take them down, but she meets a boy, Adrian, that just might believe the best in her. I'm excited to read it, and I just like love having these little samplers and stuff for these books, and when I get these, I usually put them on my shelves next to the series so that I have this little memento to go along with it. So now I'm going to go into the ARCs, or advanced reader copies, that I got at Bookcon. I will say that Bookcon is definitely not the place to try and get like every ARC ever. They're actually really hard to come by because people mob for them. BEA is actually the better setting to get ARCs, and next year I definitely am planning on going to BEA so that I can get more of the like advanced reader publisher type promotion items. But this year I did better than last year. Last year I got one ARC total, which is City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab, and I still like treasure the fact that I got this cool little ARC, and it's cool this year that I got even more ARCs, so let's discuss. These first two I literally got because people just randomly gave them to me, and by people I mean my friends. So this one is called The Good Luck Girls by Charlotte Nicole Davis, which Madison over from Princess of Paperback gave to me randomly. I don't even know how she got it, but it is signed to me, so that's pretty awesome. Thanks, Madison. And this one is described as Westworld meets The Handmaid's Tale, which pretty much sells me. And basically they live in this country called Arquetta, and they are known as good luck girls, and when they are young they are sold into a house and branded with cursed markings, and they are trapped in that setting for the rest of their lives. And Clementine accidentally murders a man, which sparks the girls into attempting a harrowing escape. I feel like this is one of those books that's going to be pretty nice to go in somewhat blind to, so I don't want to say any more than that. I'm really intrigued though, because the combination of Westworld and Handmaid's Tale sounds pretty awesome. This next book is I'm Not Dying With You Tonight by Kimberly Jones and Gilly Seagal. Someone handed this to me, said, "Do you have this?" And I said no. I don't remember who it is that gave this to me, just in the hubbub of Bookcon. If you gave this to me, let me know. I feel bad that I forgot who it was. Sorry. But this one is actually being heralded as a vital addition to the YA race relations canon, and it is about Lena and Campbell, who aren't friends, but when they both attend a Friday night football game and there is violence and things descend into mass chaos, they are thrown together, and if they want to survive the night, they have to help one another. And this one is on sale October 1st, 2019. It seems like a really interesting concept, and I'm excited that I got an ARC of it because it was just something I wasn't expecting. Literally, someone just handed it to me. So these next two books I got at the Fierce Reads booth, and they were doing something where if you buy a finished copy of a book, you can get an ARC, which is how I got these two, which is actually a pretty cool way to get an ARC because it wasn't as super crazy. You just had to wait in line to buy a book. So I got these two from that, and the first one being There Will Come a Darkness by Katie Rose Poole. And the little blurb on the back says, "The age of darkness approaches. 5 lives stand in its way. Who will stop it or unleash it?" So in this world, there are 7 prophets that guide humanity. However, all of them die. And they left behind one final secret prophecy, that there will be the birth of a new prophet that will be the world's salvation or its destruction. And as chaos takes hold, there are 5 souls set on the path for collision. A prince exiled from his kingdom, a ruthless killer known as the Pale Hand, a once faithful leader torn between his duty and his heart, a reckless gambler with the power to find anything or anyone, and a dying girl on the verge of giving up. One of them or all of them could break the world. Will they be the savior or the destroyer? It sounds really cool. I actually have not heard of this book before Bookcon, but people were dying to get their hands on this ARC, and it is fairly long. I don't know, there's just something special about like having an ARC of a book that's not out yet. I love it. This one is on sale on September 3rd, so hopefully I read it before then, because it seems really cool, and it would be nice to say that I read it before everyone else because I got an ARC at Bookcon. The next one I got is The Merciful Crow by Margaret Owen. There was also a drop at LitJoy Crate, which seemed like it was going to be crazy. So when I saw that you could just buy a book and get an ARC at Fierce Reads, I took the opportunity because people were going bananas for this book. So in the world of The Merciful Crow, there is a chieftain Fee who is the leader of the Crow caste, which is like the bottom caste, and they are undertakers and mercy killers that are called upon to collect the royal dead, and Fee is hoping that they'll find the payout of a lifetime. However, the crown prince has faked his death and offers Fee a deal that she cannot refuse: protect him and he will protect the crows when he reigns. We also follow Hawk Warrior Tavin, who is the prince's bodyguard and has been shadowing the prince's whole life, but may perhaps long for something more. It says, debut author Margaret Owen crafts a powerful saga of vengeance and survival, perfect for fans of Lee Bardugo and Kendar Blake. Sounds right up my alley. I mean, both of these just sound like really inventive and cool YA fantasy titles, which you know I'm all about over here at Katie's Book Nook, so I'm excited to have them and have the ARCs. This one is on sale July 30th. These next two ARCs, I can't believe that I got my hands on. They are sequels. The fact that I have them is just crazy to me because now I have this sequel before the following book comes out, which means I get to know what happens next before everyone else, which is pretty awesome. And the reason I have these two books are because of lovely friends, so let me tell you the story of how I got them. The first book being A Heart So Fierce and Broken by Bridget Kemmerer, I feel so bad I can never say it right, which is the sequel to A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer, which I tabbed this one up. I freaking love this book. It is a Beauty and the Beast retelling focusing on Harper, who has cerebral palsy, and she lives in modern day DC and is transported into the world of Emberfall, where Prince Ren is cursed to repeat the autumn of his 18th year over and over again until he gets a girl to fall in love with him, and things ensue from there. I adored this book so much, and my lovely friend Madison over at Princess of Paperback knows that I love this book, and she went to VEA and she was able to get me a copy, and she was also with Kevin from Irish Reader who got Angela a copy. And if you don't know, because of this book's cerebral palsy representation, this book means a lot to Angela, who's also one of my dear friends, and so it's really awesome that she got the ARC, and hopefully we can all buddy read it together. I freaking love this book, and I freaking love Madison for getting me an ARC of this. This is coming out January 7th, 2020, so it's still like 6 months until publication, but I can read it whenever I want, which is just crazy to me, and this is something that I will treasure forever because I just feel like it's really cool when you get an ARC for a series that you are waiting for the next book. I just think that's so cool. And in this one, we focus more on Gray, who is everyone's favorite captain of the guard. We also got an extra copy, and I'm sending that one to Trey over at Faye Trey because he read A Curse So Dark and Lonely and also really adored it. And he's one of my good friends, so I'm excited for him to get that. And I just love bringing happiness to other people's lives via books. This next ARC is Girls of Storm and Shadow by Natasha Nagan, and the way that I got this one was in a surprise ARC drop, which normally I was not very good at finding the surprise ARC drops, but someone in a Twitter group chat I was in said, oh my god, they're dropping the ARCs right now at the booth, like go and give the password. So I was in line for the bathroom. You can actually see the moment I got it in my Bookcon vlog, but Melissa and I were in line for the bathroom. We were like, screw it, we can just hold our bladders. Sprinted and no one was there, and thankfully we got our copies of Girls of Storm and Shadow, and like, I'm so excited. This one is a sequel to Girls of Paper and Fire, which I read a couple of months ago and absolutely loved it. And this takes place in a land where there are castes, with the Paper Girls being the lower caste, and every year the Demon King takes on 8 Paper Girls to be his harem, essentially. And this is the story of Lay and Ren, who must go through the difficulties of being in the harem and trying to escape. And this book was just awesome, like a beautiful female romance, and I'm so excited for it to continue in Girls of Storm and Shadow. And I don't know if you've seen the cover for this, I will put it up here, but wow, stunning. And I mean, just look at those two women on the cover together. It's beautiful. I'm so excited. And finally, let's get into the books that I purchased. First, I will go into the books that I purchased just like at the little stand, and then I will go into my experience meeting all of the authors. So the two books that I purchased at the Fierce Reads booth to get the ARCs are Bloom by Kevin Panetta and Savannah Ganchua, which is just this beautiful like blue toned art style, and I honestly don't know much what it's about, but I do know that I want to read more graphic novels, and everyone said that it looked really good, so I bought it. And this is a story about Ari, who is a guy that kind of wants to move to the big city and pursue his dreams of music, but he must find a replacement for himself in his family's baking business, and so he meets Hector, who just absolutely loves to bake, and through this experience they bond. Seems super cute and adorable and gay, so this will be good to read during Pride Month as well, so hopefully I get to this one soon. And graphic novels are like super easy to read and just like so fun, and I'm excited to like get more into them. And next is We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Fazila, which I was initially had not heard too much about it, and then all of a sudden everyone on BookTube could not shut up about it, and I've heard so many great things, and I was like, well, I'm gonna buy it. The main character is Zafira, and I have a friend here on BookTube, Zafina, and I told her when she was reading this book, I'm like, when I read this book, I'm just gonna think of you as the main character because your names are so similar. So now I have like a face to imagine in my head when I read this. So Zafira is a hunter who dresses as a man in disguise, and the prince is actually an assassin for his father and basically kills anyone that is a threat to the sultan. And basically they are both in difficult positions because if Zafira shows that she is actually a woman, her whole legacy in life will be destroyed, and if Nasir shows any ounce of compassion, even though he's supposed to be this cruel killer, he will also face dire consequences. And they are basically both sent on a mission to retrieve an ancient artifact where I assume they meet, and this world is inspired by ancient Arabia, and it just sounds like so detailed and rich, and like I've heard other people say that this is what YA fantasy should be, so I'm super excited to read it, and it's just so beautiful. Like I love this cover and just like the gold foiling, it's so nice. I love it. Now onto my experiences meeting the authors, and I will go in the order in which I met them. So first up is Cora Carmack. So Cora Carmack has a few different books out, and I got the ticket basically because I didn't know who else to get on Saturday, and Madison said that she was meeting Cora Carmack, so I was like, all right, I'll read one of her books and go see her. So when I was there, I picked up Roar, which is her YA fantasy, but she also writes new adult smutty books. Roar is about this girl, Aurora, who comes from a line of stormling families, and basically they have storm magic, but the magic has been disappearing for centuries. So to save her kingdom, she must enter in a marriage with this guy that does not seem that great. She basically comes across these people that are selling the storm magic, except they are storm hunters, not storm people that have storm magic naturally. So she is thinking that instead of marrying this person to save her kingdom, she's just gonna steal the storm magic, which everything about storms sounds pretty cool. It's a unique form of magic, and this cover is stunning, and Cora Carmack was just such a sweetheart to talk to. She was so lovely, and it made me really excited to read her book. Next up, I met one of my favorite authors, one of my queens, and that is Cassandra Clare. I'm so excited I got a ticket to her signing because I honestly didn't think I was going to be able to, but I was just right on the money when the signings went up, and thankfully I got a ticket to meet her, and this is my third time meeting her. It's just so awesome. So firstly, let's go into the goodies that we got. We got this beautiful poster of Cordelia Carstairs from Chain of Gold. I love this poster. Cordelia looks amazing, and I'm so excited to read whatever you call it. Oh, the Chain of Gold, because then we get to meet her character. I am just such a sucker for Shadowhunters. I love Shadowhunters. And of course I got a Chain of Gold sampler, which, oh, I'm so excited I have this little sampler. I have a sampler for Queen of Air and Darkness I got last year at Bookcon, and a sampler for Red Skulls of Magic I got at the Queen of Air and Darkness signing, so I love that I'm collecting all these little samplers for the books. And this is maybe one of my favorite Shadowhunters covers. I love the seafoam and red type of color palette we've going on with the lighter colors. It's a new direction for the Shadowhunters covers, but yet keeping with the themes, and it's just absolutely stunning. I'm in love with this cover. And in terms of the books that I got signed, I got Clockwork Angel signed, and this is my edition that I have tabbed, and it is well loved. And of course, Cassandra Clare and I talked about tabbing and talked about how I had just recently reread all of the Shadowhunters books with my lovely friend Melissa. We read all of the books together, just like we did when we were 16, and I talked about how I met her at the signing first time for Clockwork Prince. So I got Clockwork Angel signed at this signing, and now I have the complete Infernal Devices trilogy signed by Cassandra Clare, with Clockwork Prince having been signed at the book signing when I was 16 when it first came out, and Clockwork Princess I got signed at the Queen of Air and Darkness signing. And I do have a video on my entire signed book collection if you are curious to know more about those stories. And I got her new book, Ghosts of Shadow Market, which is by Cassandra Clare, Sarah Rees Brennan, Maureen Johnson, Kelly Link, and Robin Wasserman, signed and personalized. And this one is a story collection following Brother Zachariah, pictured on the cover, throughout his interactions in the Shadow Market. So we get little snippets of the characters in the Lost Hours, as well as some stories that take place before, during, and after the Dark Artifices trilogy, which just finished up. So I love these short story collections, and I think we get a little bit more in depth of the characters and the world, and just the Shadowhunters world is massive, and I just love everything that like adds more to the world. Like, it's just so much to sink my teeth into, and that is part of the reason that I love Shadowhunters. So I'm excited to have this new installment added to my collection. And basically my plan is anytime there's a Cassandra Clare signing that I can go to, I will go to it, so I can eventually have all of my books signed. And as far as the ones that I would really like signed, I have Lady Midnight and Lord of Shadows to go to have all of TDA and TID signed, and then hopefully one day I can get this guy signed, and the 10th anniversary Clockwork Angel that's coming out. Hopefully I get that signed. I'm already out of space on my Shadowhunter shelf, so I don't really know what I'm gonna do about that. Figure it out. Anyways, Cassandra Clare is so lovely, and we were talking about how she had actually gone back and reread the Infernal Devices herself in preparation for writing The Lost Hours, and how she's like, I hated it. It's like listening to yourself speak, and it's just like cringy, and I'm like, no, the books are so good. So it was pretty awesome, and that conversation actually carried over into what she was talking to Melissa about, because Melissa was right behind me in line, so it was a pretty seamless transition, and it was awesome. The next author I met is Margaret Rogerson, who wrote An Enchantment of Ravens and Sorcery of Thorns, which just came out June 4th. And when I was at her signing, I got this cute little crow pin for Enchantment of Ravens, which I love. So I read Enchantment of Ravens in like March, and she said, "To Katie, may your craft be true," and signed it. She is the sweetest person I've ever met, and I am just in love with this book. It is just it's a standalone like fairy tale type of novel. See, I drew little flowers. I loved annotating this. This is a buddy read with Trey, and it follows Isabel, who is a human in a world with these ruthless fae, and the fae cannot create anything of their own, so they must rely on the humans. However, Isabel paints emotion in the Autumn Prince's eyes, and she must go to the fairy world and stand trial for, you know, putting something so human into the ruler's eyes. And it is just a beautiful, enchanting little book. I adored it, and I was so happy to meet Margaret Rogerson because she is a lovely human. Now we have our Sorcery of Thorns, which I'm so excited to get to. And this one takes place in a magical library where Elizabeth, which, fun fact, that's my mom's name, has basically trained her whole life to protect the world from these evil sentient spell books called grimoires. And she is framed for the crime of opening and unleashing the most powerful grimoire. And even though her whole life she has been told that sorcerers are the enemy, she must team up with one Nathaniel Thorne to unravel a centuries-old conspiracy. So this just sounds like everything that I love. Oof, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to read it. And I know I love Margaret Rogerson's writing, and so I'm excited to have like a thicker, instead of more fairy tale, more like epic fantasy type book from her. I just like already know I'm gonna love it. This is one of my most anticipated books of the year, and just I'm so excited. And last but certainly not least, I met N.K. Jensen, who wrote a lot of things, but I primarily know her for writing the 5th season trilogy. So we have the 5th season, the Obelisk Gate, and the Stone Sky. I actually read this trilogy in college, and I found it because it won the Hugo Award. It's amazing. It's about this world where basically there is this 5th season when this chasm opens up in the world, and like things start spraying out, and it basically goes into apocalypse mode, and we follow 3 different perspectives in this world, and just like how, I don't know, it's like so hard to explain without giving anything away, but there's basically 3 different perspectives, and through these 3 different perspectives we find out through the kind of like how the world operates and the magic system of the world. It's really unique and inventive, and I can see why it won the Hugo Award, because it's just a fantastic adult trilogy. And if you are looking to get into more adult fantasy, this is a fantastic one to start with, because it's not like too dense or anything like that, but it's just totally gripping, gets you from the get-go. Absolutely loved it. And she signed it in gold pen, which is pretty cool. It's awesome that I can add so much to my book collection, and I just had such an amazing time at Bookcon. Not only did I get all of this stuff, but more importantly, I got to connect with so many amazing people, and you can see more of that in my vlog. But like, I just came away from Bookcon feeling so happy that I'm a part of this community, and just like how wonderful it is to connect with all of these different people. Like, I don't know, I'm just really sentimental about it today, but I just love everyone on BookTube, and I'm so happy to be a part of this community, and I'm really grateful that I got the chance to go to this event and meet all of you wonderful people. Alright, let me know down below what your favorite item that I hauled was, or if you're really looking forward to reading any of these books in my haul, or anything seems super cool, or if you went to Bookcon, what was your favorite part of it, or your favorite item that you got. And in the meantime, have some fun, read some books, and catch you guys in the next one.